Hey there, guys. It's Nolan and Jason here with HVAC Webmasters.
Howdy.
We're going to talk about today's title, Delegating Yourself into the Poorhouse, an HVAC Marketing Nightmare. Okay, so I had a call yesterday, and the lady was nice, but it wasn't the owner of the company.
Right.
And I didn't know that up front. She seemed like she cared a little bit, but she told me pretty quickly, and it was easy to tell pretty quickly that she was. And that's great. I don't mind talking to her.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the owner.
But it's also a bad sign.
It's a very bad sign.
Yeah. Regardless of how nice she is.
Yeah. So in this podcast, by the way, I'm going to tell why the story is bad. It's going to be interesting to hear this, I think, because it was interesting by the time I'd ended it with her.
Yeah.
Which I told her that she was sure to lose her employment. So you will not keep this job because of the mere nature of this call.
And she agreed with you.
And she agreed with me.
That's the
yeah,
point.
and I'm going to explain why I know she'll get fired.
Yeah.
And what the problem is here, and the chances of this thing being a good lead or this being a good HVAC company.
Right.
And I'll explain that. I'm also gave her some suggestions for. I said this may not if this gentleman doesn't call back, the owner, and here's what you do, and we'll give a couple of suggestions and tell the story. And in telling the story, I think it'll help shed some light on what somebody should be doing differently.
Right.
But anyway, so the big mistake is that someone doesn't turn loose with their marketing. I say this all the time. I think it's easy to use these two guys, but Steve Jobs was involved in marketing until he died.
Right.
And Elon Musk is constantly self-promoting himself. In fact, I think Elon's brand might be bigger than Tesla on some levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Elon's actually eclipses the brand.
Yeah. His brand effectively supports their brand.
Without, if something happened to Elon, even though Tesla's a big brand, it would be bad.
Yeah. And anytime Tesla has any sort of, if there's any issue or like a bad story comes out about, like one of their cars setting on fire,
He does damage control. Yeah.
His sort of aura obscures the problem.
It does.
Yeah.
It's Elon. We feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something funny, just on a side note. I was getting blood drawn yesterday for some wellness checkup. And I was talking to the lady, and we're like, hey, you seen the new Top Gun movie? And it's like, speaking of a brand, and yeah, it's like, it was great. I said, yeah, it was really good. I said, yeah, I said, when I walked out of there, I almost felt like, because Tom Cruise came on right before the movie. Have you seen it yet?
No, but I heard he has like a little message.
He's got a little message, and it's like, okay, Tom.
I'm Tom Cruise. We worked really hard on
Yeah, but
this
it came
thing.
off really well.
Yeah.
And and it's like when the movie was over, it's like, all right, Tom, we all forgive you now for all the craziness.
I actually saw someone tweet about that.
Okay.
It was a Tom Cruise hater on Twitter.
Okay. Oh,
And
he
it's
said
like,
that.
Now that everybody's trying to act like Tom Cruise is great because he made a movie you like, why don't you all remember he did this?
No,
this,
he
this?
literally
Yeah.
absolved himself from it. Like, I didn't see that, but I'm like, you're absolved. Jump in the sofa, all the shit. No problem. No problem
Because
at all.
you made this
Yeah,
movie.
this movie's awesome, and you're absolved. So, like a brand of somebody can be huge, and the main point is someone's in charge of their brand.
Yeah.
Especially with a small business. So when somebody with a small business who's not Elon or Steve or Tom delegates their marketing to the new girl they hired a month ago,
Yeah.
that's a effing problem.
Yeah.
It's a huge, resounding effing problem. Now, every once in a while, I'll get someone who will delegate part of this and then step in. I found these people to look at. I trust your opinion a little bit, but not fully. Show me what you've done. I'll check it real quick. You spend 10 hours here to save 30 minutes of my time. And then they'll step in and oversee.
Yeah, verify or whatever.
But that's almost none of these people. And that's not who this guy was, by the way. This guy was, and she's like, well, I'm working on a PDF to hire a technician off of the green sheet. And she started like, now she wanted to laugh with me. And I'm not like,
she was laughing so she didn't cry kind of thing.
she wanted me to laugh with her about it. And I'm like, yeah, that's old, but I'm not too lofty to like communicate or anything, but it was such an old joke that I wasn't with her there with it. It's like, okay, this is not funny. This is tragic.
It's sad.
Yeah, this is so. And I said, remember the thrifty nickel? And she laughed and like, you remember the thrifty nickel?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's around anymore.
I don't think so. No.
But the green sheet evidently is, because this guy was going to post in the green sheet. And
looking for an HVAC technician.
An HVAC technician. And
Wow.
she was trying to figure out how to do some PDF rendering for it. So it must have been he's going to do a big display on the green sheet.
Oh, breaking out the big bucks.
Breaking out the big bucks. So I'm going to, and if they're HVAC, they're going to understand this. And there's nothing wrong with any of this, but I'm going to tell you why this guy's going to die poor and have a rough life. And anybody watching it is like,
that sounds harsh, but it's true. As
so
one
people
of his stand-up bits.
Listen to this and say, I'm not that old guy, Nolan. That's not going to be me. This is going to be 95% of people.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a lot of you, and I hope it's not, but it probably is.
It's majority chance
Yeah.
that they would, or I would, or you would, or plumber would, or roofer would, or anybody. I'm not just picking on an HVAC guy. Just this is going to happen if you don't get it right. If you don't really get it right, this is going to happen. Nolan Walker here for Data Pins. You may not know, but I own a software company, and we have a proprietary software called Data Pins, DATAPINS. You can search it at datapins.com. This is not white labeled. I actually own this piece of software, and I made it for you. It was made for contractors. You can actually take pictures of jobs, up to 6, make a caption about the material, the brand, the situation, the repairs, and post that back to your individual pages on your website, just like that. It's super simple. Anyone could use it. It also texts and emails your clients direct links to your reviews, so it helps reputation and reviews, which helps conversion and map placement. The geo coordinate gets grabbed by Data Pins, and Google can tell where you are. So instead of them just seeing reviews, they see all jobs or even estimates that you do. This vastly outperforms just getting reviews. Helps the map show up, helps organic keywords. And remember, those captions that you're putting in there help expand the keywords per page, and it's great regular content. I love it. We made it just for you. It is organic optimization on steroids for both your website, your rankings, and the map placement. Check out Data Pins. I think you'll be happy you did. She's asking questions, and I'm telling her what needs to be done. And I said, well, they need to call. I said, luckily, she's like, well, let me ask you a question. Does Google ever call? And I could tell she'd already talked to people. I said, well, you know the answer to that, because it sounds like you've talked to people to be able to ask the question. Google never calls. But this guy paid somebody $99 before and had the credit card. But it defaulted. They wanted more money. And I said, well, Google doesn't call and ask for anything. I said, the Google business profile is free. I said, now, because he works for home warranty companies, so let me finish this story because I got off track there. He works for home warranty, which is no shame in it, but it doesn't pay well and none of them like it.
Yeah.
So no HVAC company likes working for home warranty. They certainly can't hire trucks and pay other people. So since he works for home warranty, he had a below 4 star rating because his customers are the home warranty people's customers, but he shows up in his truck. So instead of getting mad at home warranty, which they may as well, they also throw him in there and give him bad reviews too.
Right.
So the good news is he only had like a 3.8, but he had like 80 plus reviews. So I'm like, he doesn't have a website because he didn't want to pay for it. I'm sure he's had one at some point. She said,
you didn't even tell me that. He didn't even have a website?
He didn't have a website. Wow. And I said, well, he had a website.
You told me he had all the old school stuff. You didn't tell me he had completely neglected.
I don't know what other old school stuff he'd done. I'm just talking to this girl that was hired a year ago who after about an hour on the phone, I said, by the way, you're going to lose your job. I'm going to tell you why. I said, everything that we talked about to this point is why you're going to lose your job. I said, this guy is telling you to do something that he should do. And he's not going to know what to do or how to do it. And he's going to blame it on you. I said, you're not the marketing manager, correct? You do 40 things. She said, right. I said, so he doesn't know how to do this stuff. And when it doesn't work the way he wants it to, when you don't tell him what he wants to hear, he's going to blame it on you during off season. He's going to fire you. I said, you stand a high chance of getting fired anyway in an HVAC company during off season.
Yeah.
Unless you're integral to operations. And that's nothing against, it's fine. HVAC people have to lay people off and not have technicians during off season that burn up all their profits they made during the
right.
season.
Right.
No big deal. But this lady wasn't told that, so it's unethical at very least.
Yeah.
Right? So it's unethical. I said, you've been hired during busy season. It's June, right? So it's June.
There was a high likelihood you're going to get laid off anyway,
right,
in October. But
yeah.
if he's got you handling this kind of stuff, the chance went way up.
So the irony, the tragedy of this whole thing is that he runs leads for home warranty companies to make ends meet, and they're smart. They squeeze out every bit of profit. Yeah, a guy can barely probably pay for the truck upkeep and get his, makes very little money. And then he does get to oversell these people. He upsells these people. Probably where the bad reviews come from, by the way.
Yeah.
Home warranty thought they were going to cover it, and he's covering part of it, and he's got another $800 charge or something like that. So he's got her calling. He works for home warranty. He should be involved enough in the business to figure it out, but he gets angry at the marketing, and he's fearful of the marketing. So he doesn't look into it. I'll never hear from this guy. I might have heard from the first type of guy that's trying to run a little bigger business and said, you go spend your time, bring me 5 people, and then I'll knock your heads together like Mo on the Three Stooges, and then I'll make it happen. Yeah, and whatever, And so he comes back, and this guy's not going to come back though. So she's going to go get the information. He's not going to understand any of it. I told her this. I said, so he's likely to go pick something cheap that won't work, and you'll get lied to. And she said, I'm trying to prevent that. I said, no, he'll pick that. And I said, that's not necessarily dumb for the first time or two, but I'm guessing this guy's older because you said green sheet. And he said, yeah, he's older. He's probably got another 10 years left, maybe. And I'm working with him. I said, well, that's sad. It's sad because he's got 80 Google reviews over here that he can capitalize on. So he doesn't have a website because he had to pay something for it, even if it was $50 a month.
Yeah.
And he would have gotten mad even at the $50 and canceled that at some point in time. But because the Google business profile is free, he still has it and it's been up a long time.
Yeah.
So I said, there's all these things going on here that are tragic. And he said, well, in the beginning, he said he wants to move to retail. I said, of course he does. He's working for home warranty. Of course he wants retail business, but he can't get retail business unless he gets involved in the website. She said, before I didn't let her finish. She said, Nolan, can you? And I said no. And she stopped. I said, were you going to ask me to do something for him? And she said, yeah. I said, like a report. Sounds reasonable, right? It's not reasonable.
Yeah.
I said, you're talking to the owner of this company, which I'm happy to talk to you as a human being. I think you're wonderful. I've enjoyed this conversation. But he asked you to call, and he's not interested. And he has no respect in my company or marketing in general.
It's like if you did a report, he wasn't going to read it.
Right.
He was going to ask her, maybe ask her what it meant. Right. Maybe glance at it and say, no, I don't like it.
Right.
Yeah,
I said, he needs to do something. I said, hey, have him watch the podcast. He'll get information out of this. I said, at the end of it,
don't watch this.
Yeah.
I'm talking about me.
Listen,
that's when we get threatening letters.
If he watches it, we don't.
We don't really.
He'll never watch it.
No, he won't.
He'll never watch it. But if he watches it, he may save himself from his future that's coming.
Or maybe he'll say, "Oh, they ain't talking about me."
You talking about me? But no. If you watch, I'm the ghost of marketing future. I mean, he don't want this.
No.
He don't want where he's going to end up. He's already in the throes of it. So he's a broke down guy that lost the view of society, marketing, and the path, and is stuck in the past so far to the green sheet. And he's already in this horrible state. He wants to do better, but he won't learn and do anything to help himself. He won't take the next step. He probably got all kinds of mental blocks and issues.
I've always done it this way. It's worked for 30 odd years.
She actually said that.
Really? You didn't even tell me that before.
Yeah,
I just knew.
She was trying to get him to pay some bills with electronically or set up an auto pay, and he literally said, "It's not broke. It's always worked." And he writes checks on there. I still write some checks too for like a mortgage or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I want to look at it each month.
And it's like a paper trail sometimes.
I want to watch it. And, I pay my credit card and I'll go in and pay it because I want to look at the debits. So I don't set up auto pay because then, is like at some point.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff electronically. Nothing gets auto paid.
I auto pay a lot of stuff now because I got a lot of stuff going on. But if it's critical,
Well, I've got some.
If I need to look at a debit or a credit, or I don't want my escrow of my house to get out of control, or I want to see what's going on, I'll go look at those, and then I'll auto pay everything else. I auto pay electricity, gas, all kinds of stuff. There's a ton of stuff for the businesses, of course. I mean, we would be in trouble. But he's still doing all this stuff and won't change any of it. None of it. I keep some of the old school stuff only if it's fiduciaryly sound, to do it. But he won't change any of it, and you don't have to do all of this. But he's obviously doing none of it. Yeah. So he's sitting there.
Yeah. When it's on down the line, he won't change anything. That's bad.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately there was a time where you could run your business the same way for 40 years.
There was.
And you didn't have to change anything because the world didn't change in that time, barely. But that's not where we are.
It's disgusting on some level, frankly. On just on his benefit, it's just part of it's great. Part of it's disgusting. I went in to get wellness tests on blood. They're testing all kinds of stuff. It's fantastic what they can test, right? And all the other stuff that can come up. Like they couldn't do that 10 years ago, right? But the progression of marketing and all that, it's really a tragedy on some of it. It's hard.
It is, and, absolutely. That's why you need professional services.
Yeah. Hey there, guys. Nolan Walker here for HVAC Webmasters. Glad you're listening to the podcast, but I'd like you to become a client. We're a digital marketing agency that have done this for 12 years. I don't think there's anybody better than us at this point in time. We will help you with your design, your code, your content, showing up as high as we can on Google ranking, your organic ranking, your map ranking, your reputation, your reviews. Our digital marketing agency will help you be the best possible online. We can help you with all of it, even paid. We even have a software company called DataPens that's proprietary. We made it for you guys. You can take 90 seconds and do a pin on each job. We call them data pins, and it'll grab the geo coordinate where you're located. Looks like a little red pin drop, but to Google it looks like a digital hand raise. This helps them see where you're working. So if someone doesn't give you a review, they've got this with photos of the job that count as unique content and a caption. Let's say it's Linux air handler replacement with Linux M30 Wi-Fi thermostat. This is additional content that's literally going to drop on the individual service and city pages on the website and expand your keyword search ability. It's crazy how cool DataPens is combined with the SEO and digital marketing agency services of HVACwebmasters.com. Guys, check us out. We'd love to hear from you.
That's why you can't have a person in your office who also pops the corn, as they say. Who does the marketing? Sorry, that's a Jim Cornette thing.
Oh, okay.
When he was still actively and working at wrestling companies, especially when he was younger, they would say, "Hey, can you do this for the next show?" And he would be like, with his way of protesting, and said, "Well, I can pop the corn too if you want," meaning you're giving me too much to do.
Yeah. I always talk about the Little Red Hen book. The nursery around where Little Red Hen baked, got the corn, ground the corn, or got the wheat, ground the wheat. Made the dough, made the bread, and she asked the duck and the fox and everyone to help. And
all through the way, nobody would help.
Nobody wanted to help, but then when the bread was ready, everybody wanted to eat it.
Yeah.
My kids will come up and say, "I have some Little Red Hen ain't sharing with you." What the hell have you done? but yeah, so it's hard. It is hard, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't effing matter. It is hard. But people got to get involved.
Yeah,
they got to learn it.
He doesn't know how to have to know how to do everything we do, because that would be insane anyway. But he needs to be involved in the process of finding the people to do it. That's not something he should pawn off.
Right.
And he should educate himself well enough to know that he's got to get out of the green sheet.
Yeah.
And onto modern
ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter. Even Craigslist would be better than Green Sheet for finding somebody.
It would. Yeah. But yeah, it's rough, but you got to do it. I told my daughter the other day that I was the goat of my stuff, and she's like, "Dad, you can't call yourself the goat." I'm like, I am the goat. Though I said it's too niche of an industry for anyone to recognize.
You tell her Ric Flair calls himself the GOAT, so can you. Yeah. And then she'll ask you,
who's
Ric Flair?
But I mean, so as someone gets older, this is the good part about it. If someone gets older and continues to learn, they become a goat in their own right. Like we're older and remember all the stuff and know all the new stuff.
Right.
We're clearly superior at the marketing game at this point on all. We really, I mean, we are. We're vastly superior. And but
with humility, we say.
If somebody doesn't, well, it's earned, man. It's earned. You know? I don't think it's bad.
Really.
We earned it over and over again, right?
Yeah.
But the guy's got to learn something. Anybody listens got to learn.
Well, I
something.
mean, and the best thing about experience and taking it in, not just having things happen to you, but never changing anything, is as you get experience and you update your way of thinking. It's not just that you learn more as you go on, but you learn why you learned, and you remember that you have to keep going.
Right.
Like you remember, oh, we used to do it this way, but that doesn't work anymore. So maybe this doesn't work now, and I need to do the next thing.
Yeah.
It becomes a constant process.
Constantly changing. If you ever find yourself going stagnant, you have to shake yourself off and go learn some new stuff again.
Right.
So most likely this guy got burned by something here and there, and just one or two times, and he ingrained in his head that doesn't work, and I'm not paying those bastards again. But then he can't make any money. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go try it again. I'll tell this girl to go do it.
Yeah. And
then he kicks her, tells her to go do it. So, and I'll tell.
And by the way, the reason that no one's saying this girl's probably going to lose her job in the off season, that's not just him being, untactful. It's we've seen it. We've had clients who are with us for several years, and every 6 months we have a new contact in the office because they hire somebody and they tell them handle this stuff, and then the off season comes or whatever. What'd you do wrong? And they fire them. And then we got a new person to talk to, and all of a sudden another person calls and said, "Yeah, I'm new here."
I'm the new marketing manager,
and it's like, oh, the fifth one.
Yeah, I felt bad for one time when they called like that, but this. I mean, I guess he's gonna fire her because he's gonna go back from whence he came because he's not willing to change.
Right.
And since he pushed it off on her, she can't bring it to him. I said, by the way, I won't take the business if he doesn't sound like he understands it, and he doesn't promise to do pins. If he doesn't do data pins and he's obstinate, just because he pays more money doesn't mean it's going to work. He's got to do a couple of things on his own.
And if he won't even do electronic payments, the chances of him adopting data pins is extremely low. Yeah. So I said, and I got done talking. I was going over a few of these things. Let me see what else I had. So she'd been there 1 month during busy season. She's being tasked with all these things to do. Yeah. And he's doing the same stuff he always did. And he's unlikely to get set up. Now, if he just tries to come clean and do some good marketing, even if he failed again, wouldn't fail with us if he did some pins and got us. But if he goes to someone else, he fails again. You can't quit trying unless you want to lose, all touch with the reality, all modern stuff, and eventually go out badly. Yeah, like a death of a salesman, death of a HVAC company owner, or whatever you want to call it. Just kind of dying out in a way that you don't want to go. Right. Really bad way to go. Yeah. And the issue we see, someone tries it the first time, and it doesn't work, and they think, instead of thinking I did that wrong, they think this thing doesn't work. Right. And that that's death.
I think they know it works, but they just don't think they can do it. I will tell you.
I've spoken to people who literally said, SEO doesn't work. It's all BS. Yeah. And I'm like, I've got proof that it does.
The big show, and why is everyone that you want to be like in there?
Yeah. Why is it working for the three guys?
Why does it work for all the people? But Mr. Beast, his name's Jimmy. He was on Joe Rogan, and I was listening to Mr. Beast on Joe Rogan, and said, "Don't put out bad content." And this goes down a different slope of stuff, but that guy and most people have put out bad content against their business from day one, or no content. So they've literally not been doing anything to support their brand. And what they do put out there is so poor quality, nobody wants to do business with them, and Google doesn't want to show them. Right. So I told her before I got on, I said, "Hey, very unlikely that he'll call me. I said, if you have one more question, fine, but he kind of needs to call me if he wants to go over this stuff, I'm grateful to talk to him. I always tell people the same thing. I said, by the way, as you can see, I'm Texas straightforward, but I'm Texas respectful. We'd love to have your business. We'd love to have his business, as long as he wants to work with somebody,
Yeah.
And but I said, in the meantime, since the Google Business Profile is free, it's up. You have 80 plus reviews, and that 3.8 will go up considerably once you start getting reviews and actually get retail business, because you'll quit getting all the pissed off people from the home warranty company.
Right.
And it's aged, and I said, so you don't want to get rid of it or anything. Somebody would call them and offer to get rid of all the Google reviews for payment, all the 1 stars, all the bad ones. I said, so I know he's cheap. I said, and I know he doesn't like to spend money on marketing, and I'm pretty sure he probably had a problem before. That's why this is all going this way. But have him put up a website and just get the cheapest one possible. I told everybody to if you have a Google account up and a website up, I said you can do it yourself. Go help him put up the little website button on the Google Business Profile and link it to the little cheap website you got. And I said, that's it. And it's done to get the cheapest one possible, like $10, $50 a month, $99 a month, something he'll pay forever. And when he gets pissed off at it, time to not cancel it, to keep using it, so that if he ever needs to market someday, he's in a better position.
Right.
It probably won't do anything for him today, but if he ever decides that he's going to get serious and change his ways, then he'll have it waiting for him. And I said, at very least that. I said, probably nothing good to come out of this whole conversation, except I'll be able to do a podcast about this. Right. She was nice. I mean, by the end of it, I was like, she said, thanks for all the time. I said, it's my job. It's fine. You've been nice. I said, I feel for you. I said, I'll tell you what. I said,
brush up that resume.
Yeah, that's what I like. I said,
oh my God.
Yeah, I said, if he does come on board, I said, you're only hoping not losing your job there, because he's asked you to do 40 things, right? She said, yeah. I said, that's fine. It's a small business. Nothing wrong with him asking to do stuff.
We wear multiple hats around here.
We do the same thing. Yeah, but he's unreasonable because he's not getting involved in marketing. And I know this to be true. I've done this for a very long time. And so when the off season comes, the only thing that'll probably save you is if he does sign up with me. And he doesn't like it still because he doesn't understand marketing, but he knows he's busy. And he applies that success to you, and he'll keep your job. I said, without that, he's not staying because he won't have the money to stay. And he's going to be superstitious about the marketing because he doesn't understand it. Most people that understand a little bit are still superstitious about the marketing. But if he's superstitious about it and he relates it to you, he'll keep you because he's scared, which he probably should keep you if you got him to do the marketing.
Right.
But without that, this guy's not going to have the money to keep you during off season, at very least. And he's going to apply an illogical scenario to you as well.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about that because we occasionally deal with a marketing manager at a company. A client, we'll have a client and they'll hire, after the fact of coming on board with us, they'll hire a marketing manager, and that person will talk to us, and eventually that person, for whatever reason, gets proprietary, and they're thinking of this is supposed to be my marketing. I don't want these guys over here doing it. And they get they convince their boss to do a different site and cancel our service. It happens occasionally.
Then they lose their job.
And then they lose their job.
Right.
And it's like, if your dumbass had just listened to us, done all the things we told you to do working with us,
and expanded,
you could have taken credit for all of it.
Right.
Kept our services, and everybody would be happy.
Yeah.
And you would be better off.
And they would have actually been able to provide enough side benefit to just, to pay for their job.
Yeah.
There is things.
Well, as I said, they take credit for our success and they get to keep their job.
There was it reminds me of one, and I won't say the full name, but you remember a long time ago, the guy would fire people every 3 to 6 months. It's DK.
Oh yeah, that's the one I was referencing. Yeah, there's him and one other guy that fit the bill closely.
Yeah, the other guy's still
with us.
Yeah,
broke in a new one recently, actually.
Oh
3 weeks
God,
ago.
we gotta tell. I'm gonna tell one of these. I'm gonna tell both these stories just a little bit,
okay?
Because these are really interesting. So first guy that did this hire. So people get successful, don't track where their money comes from. Another reason you need to understand your marketing and be involved. Because when you have a professional service like HVAC Webmasters and then Data Pins that's badass and blows it off the hinges for you, You know who brung you to the dance. You know, you don't hammer the people who helped you. I used to say, don't change the ingredients of the cake if it tastes good. You don't know if you're going to take the sugar out.
Right.
You know? And so you leave it alone, and you're thankful to people. You don't roll around with a big attitude and like, I'm the best in the world and screw everybody. You know,
I built that.
I did all this, and so people get this attitude. We see it all the time.
Yeah.
What will end up happening, in case people don't understand fully what we're talking about, is that we will help people out greatly. Right. Just by running a design code content like organic optimization, map placement, reviews, reputation, like they get popping and they get regular call volume. And then they will take that and go, I'm awesome. I'm going to hire an internal marketing representative. I'm not talking like the girl we're talking about. She's just whipping girl. She's just whip girl. That she's not in marketing. They hire someone that claims to be marketing.
Usually like a fresh-faced college grad.
Right.
Which there's nothing wrong with being a fresh-faced college grad. But so college grad has a lot of education but no experience. They haven't. All the things they've learned in college, they haven't yet had the chance to apply it. So they don't really know what they're doing. I'm not trying to be insulting. I didn't, when I started, I didn't either. But they don't have experience yet.
Our client base is not insulted by that because most of them are self-starters, entrepreneurs. But anyway, so they'll go hire somebody thinking that if they put more money in, so they'll hire someone that they pay 3 times more than they pay us.
Right.
And then that person will kill their marketing, and they will kill their marketing with that person.
Right.
Every time, almost every time when they do that, and not all the time. And all right, the second guy, the other one you were talking about, actually tried to go into competition against us, started a digital marketing agency. Is that who we're talking about?
Oh, that's a different one. Okay, no. There's 3.
It's all right. And by the way, since we're now down a slippery slope topic here,
we can't mention it anymore.
We keep most of our clients for a long, long time. They're nice clients.
We do. Well, I mean, we got of the 3 we've mentioned, 2 we still have.
Okay, yeah.
So only one of them left. But there's one of them that I just literally 3 weeks ago broke in their new in-office person.
Okay.
And he's been with us 4 years, and this is the 5th one.
We should do a podcast about this and have our new people watch it so that they don't do it to us. Please don't unintentionally get a big ego after we make you money and then do this to us.
Do not do this.
Do not do this. But that one of them tried to go into a competition against us and spent money on that, folded all that up, and stayed with us the whole time.
Yeah.
Really, they did kind of try to go into competition against us.
A little bit, yeah.
And we wasted a lot of money. And he actually retired, sold his business to someone else who still uses us.
Yeah. He sold his share to the other partner.
Who wisely kept us.
And they kept us. Yeah. 2 businesses, actually.
2 businesses. Yeah. We have both accounts with them. Anyway, this is interesting stuff. So I guess, anyway.
We're trying to skip around.
Anybody listening to this is not likely to be that person.
Hopefully.
But on top of that, I want you to understand that you better not be anywhere near this person if you don't want to die poor and angry and bitter and losing your way. You've got.
Don't sugarcoat it, no one.
You've got. That guy's already there.
Yeah.
He's already there.
He's almost at his last chance to turn it around.
Yeah.
And he's probably not going to take that chance.
I messed up stuff for decades. Although I've been in business and I've never bankrupted or did anything, and I've had this business for 12 years, and it's constantly staying after it.
Yeah.
We do such innovative stuff, really, compared to most people, don't we? I mean, it's crazy what we're doing and how we're changing. And we're changing again. We've been through quite a few things here and actually had the business go great since COVID. And we're getting smoother, better, and more streamlined with software company on the side. And I feel like another huge change is coming for us in the next couple of years. Great stuff. But it's a hell of a lot better than sitting back, and it's easy to sit back and bitch about our industry and complain and throw responsibility or problems off onto someone else and point a finger, Yeah. But one thing big that we've done recently is just these podcasts.
Yeah.
So in a different way, Mr. Beast, by the way, was very informative on Joe Rogan as to how to do a proper video.
Yeah, we changed how we were doing it. One thing we used to do is we'd shoot one, and no matter how sort of weird weirdly off topic or awkward it went,
We-
or how low energy we were with, oh, well, it's fine, put it up anyway.
Yeah.
And nowadays, if we have one like that, we don't do it. We just trash it.
This one's, I haven't done this in a while. I'll rate these, at the end of them. But this one's this one's a good conceptual content. It's a good thought on everything. Someone needs to hear this stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit it perfect, but it's great information. And it discusses a problem with a lot of these companies.
Yeah.
Like lots of them.
We see it, like I said, we see it constantly.
Yeah, I was talking to Kenneth the other day and on a podcast, and you've got to be involved in these major pillars of your business or you're just not going to make any money.
Right.
So the service, the equipment, the financing, the accounting, the job costing, management of your people, processes, procedures, marketing and leads. I mean, if you miss some of that stuff, you do everything right, but you don't pay your payroll taxes, or you do everything right, but you have horrible people, or you don't ever do everything right, but you don't manage processes or follow up with people and stuff. We're about to change a little bit. We're talking about the processes and those people stuff we've always messed up in the past.
Yeah.
When we delegated that stuff out, I don't think we'll screw it up this time. Really, I don't feel like we will. If we do, we go back and
figure out what the problem is and try again. Yeah.
But things are running really well because we've got control of all that stuff in this business.
And it's fine to hire someone to help you with these things, but do not hand it off.
Right.
That person should be assisting you, meaning you're still doing some of it. You're still involved, and they're maybe doing the grunt work. And you watch everything that gets done and make the major decisions.
Segued me, and I'll leave with this thought about it.
Okay.
So where is this person watching, or where is somebody in this process? And I'll use an old 90s reference, get in where you fit in. And so you might be the guy that is one guy going and makes money and figures out how to invest that money and has a good life. You might be the guy that can manage 10 or 20 people or 30 people or 100 people. Hardly anybody can manage more than that, 10.
Right.
Hardly anybody. But part of this is that, like, as you try to grow and delegate, you've got to figure out what you can do. And then the only way you can grow that is if you can grow. So, that guy brought that up too, Kenneth. But if you grow, you can grow your business. But wherever you are today, hence get in where you fit in, you'd better not delegate and grow outside of that.
Right.
And if you do, you basically will eat up all your profits or make no profits. So this is a really small case. This guy's running around doing warranty work and tried to delegate one thing. Well, he shouldn't have, right?
Yeah.
He should. Now, someone might have delegated part of it, but not what do you say?
Not hand it off.
Not hand it off.
Yeah.
Not hand it off.
Yeah.
But he could have done it a little bit as long as he'd come back to it. But he delegated it away and he's not going to look at it.
Yeah. He wants somebody. This is a handle it.
Yeah.
Handle it.
Handle it. Yeah, that stuff doesn't really work ever for any of this stuff.
Right.
You've got to have a procedure and come back and check stuff. A lot of people miss this mark and lose money here. And if it's on any of these primary topics, like your bank account, your accounting, your leads, your process procedures, your people hiring, you're going to have a major problem, and you've got to get it all right or you're not going to make a profit. So the marketing is one of the legs that we help handle for people, but we're probably 1 out of 5 things that's critical. In my opinion, we're the number one thing, but there's other things that are number one if they come up, like not paying your taxes.
Yeah.
Not
at tax time, taxes are number one.
Expenses. Yeah, right. So there's other things that'll take your butt out and or cause your life to be otherwise just miserable.
Right.
So you got to learn it, whether you like it or not. And man, we'd love to hear from you. I always tell everybody on these, call us. We'd love to work with you. We're easy to get along with. We're usually almost nothing to start. We're very reasonable per month for what we do. And we handle hordes of things that I didn't go into, but design, code, content, showing up on Google, which is what we call the big show.
Right.
I don't know if we did the big show for HVAC, did we?
Yeah, that's the last one we did.
Was it
yeah.
HVAC?
Yeah.
Do the big show?
Yeah.
All right. I love the big show. It's a good one. Cool. Yeah, if you want to know what we do, some of it's in the big show. Anyway, guys, call us when you're ready. We'll see you.
Hit like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
There you go.
I'll remember it this time.
Thanks, Jason.